Here we are, another episode of
Crime, coffee,
Coffee
and
Crafts.
crafts. I'm Heidi,
I'm Kristen.
and today you're with me. Exactly. Okay, so today I'm covering Ma Barker and the Barker Karpis gang.
Ooh.
Ma Barker. Okay, there's a lot of no evidence.
A lot of no evidence.
A lot of no evidence about her, but there's a lot of story about her. So I'm going to start with a little bit of information straight off of Wikipedia because I can. Because I donate to them. And I just told you that I use Wikipedia.
Do what we do.
For part of my article. Okay? Okay, so Ma Barker, she was born Arizona Donnie Clark.
That's actually a pretty cool name.
Right?
Arizona.
It's kind of neat. In 1873, you guys. 1873 in Missouri.
Missouri.
So she's an Ozarks girl. Was an Ozarks girl. 1873. I mean, if she was still alive, she'd be real freaking old. What I've read about her, let's see. So she was born Arizona Clark in Ash Grove, Missouri, the daughter of John and Emmeline, and I freaking love that name.
I love that name
Emmeline.
too. It's so pretty.
Emmeline Parker Clark. Her family called her Ari, or Ari. Probably Ari. I don't know. In 1892, she married George Barker in Lawrence County, Missouri, and the couple had 4 sons. I'm just going to tell you their names. Herman, Lloyd, Arthur, and Fred. And I'm going to stop there with that. Okay? That's just a little taste of their history.
Cool.
Shit gets
Wild.
crazy. I'm going to hit that real quick. Ooh.
Get a little wild.
Don't mind me. Get rid of the computer.
Mhm.
Okay. So I got more information from fbi.gov and MissouriMemorial.com. Ma Barker was best known for the alleged myth that she ran the gang, the Barker Karpis gang.
Oh.
But there's no actual proof behind that.
Just her testimony?
Not even. Nope.
Mm.
It's all a myth. According to fbi.gov. According to everyone else, including true crime books, etc., etc., she ran the gang. So, I don't know.
Crowd.
I kind of trust the other people. But anyway, her name was Kate. She went by Kate, a.k.a. Ma Barker, a.k.a. matriarch with a machine gun. Yikes. And the Barker Karpis gang was one of the longest-lived Depression-era gangs. Pretty cool. Active from 1931 to 1935.
So they were bootleggers.
Oh, for real. I mean, it was that whole era, yeah.
Yeah.
The gang was founded by, supposedly, Fred Barker and Alvin Karpis after they met in prison in March of 1931.
So the youngest of the brothers.
Right. At one point, the gang had approximately 25 members. That's
They
pretty
were
big.
running some stuff.
That's serious
Yeah.
stuff. So, within a few months of them starting the gang, they began robbing banks. But not long after, on December 19th, 1931, they killed a West Plains, Missouri sheriff named Calvin Roy Kelly. Not a good move, guys. Shouldn't have done it. Stupid. Because now everybody's going to be after you. At about 7:40 p.m., Alvin Karpis and Fred Barker drove a blue DeSoto sedan to a garage on East Main Street in West Plains, Missouri, to have 2 flat tires repaired.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, the repairman noticed the tread pattern on the tires was similar to those of a car involved in a burglary. of
That's
the CC.
interesting.
Exactly.
I mean,
of the CC McCowan clothing store. He had the garage owner call Sheriff Kelly. Because, back then...
How did the repairman
they knew
know?
everybody? Oh, I'm sure they put out information.
Oh, like on
to
the
all
radio?
The garages. Because there was like a...
On the newspapers?
Probably. Probably. You know what those are? Oh, you don't know what those are because you don't use those. Everybody's all online now.
What's black and white and red all over?
I don't know.
A newspaper.
I know. I don't know what that is. What's a newspaper? Sheriff Kelly went to the garage and asked if he could look the car over. Karpis said, okay, then shot Sheriff Kelly twice right through the heart. And Barker simultaneously fired from behind Sheriff Kelly, striking him in the right arm. Sheriff Kelly drew his gun but was unable to return fire before he died. So
he was ambushed.
Absolutely.
That's a shit move.
Absolutely.
That's a terrible way to go.
But, I mean, shit moves, shitty people.
Yeah.
Sheriff Kelly, this is a fun fact. Sheriff Kelly was survived by his wife Lulu.
Oh, I like
Adorable.
that name too.
In that bed, we served out his term as sheriff. Sheriff Lulu. That's
really?
right. Yes, she did. Yes,
wow,
she did.
Wow,
That's
nice.
right.
I like that.
Yeah. She's a bad bee. All right. So, the gang fled the scene and ended up holed up in a house in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Is that how I went?
From, yep. Now, their good friend, local crime boss, Harry Sawyer, had set this stay up for them. How nice. How nice. And it was with one of his friends. He set these guys up to stay at his friend's house, basically. And personally, I would be pissed if my friend was like, hey, can my friend come and stay with you for a little while? And, they were on the run for killing someone. Killing a police officer. Anyway.
Different times.
Yeah.
Different times.
Trust no one. Unfortunately, the son of the homeowner recognized a couple of pictures in his copy of True Detective magazine. And those pictures were of Alvin and Fred, the two guys that were staying in his house.
Interesting.
So he called the police.
Like a good citizen.
Exactly. See something, say something.
Mm-hmm.
But, it wasn't going to be that easy because the police chief was corrupt as fuck. And he tipped the gang off, so they took off and got away. So, yeah.
You got money, you can pay people off.
It's all baloney. Yeah. Well, back then, especially.
Yeah.
Back then, especially, there was a lot of corruption.
Mm-hmm.
It's now 1932. Staying along?
Fast forward.
All right. In comes Doc Barker, one of the brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know his birth name is different, but Doc is what he goes
Doc
by.
is his nickname.
He had recently been paroled while he was serving a life sentence for the murder of a night watchman by the name of Thomas J. Sherrill in 1921. Ridiculous that he was released, but, that's what happens. He only served, 10 years. That's full of bullshit. So now the gang was being led by these three ruthless criminals, and they continued with bank robberies until around mid-1933, when they finally realized robbing banks was getting to be a bit too risky. So they decided to move up to kidnapping.
Okay.
That's a smooth one.
Mm-hmm.
On the evening of June 15th, 1933, William A. Ham, Jr., don't forget that, president of the Theodore Ham Brewing Company, was working at his office in St. Paul, Minnesota, when he was grabbed by 4 members of the Barker Karpis gang and pushed into the back of a car. That's what happens when you have money, I guess. People are like, let me have it.
Yeah. Let's take what's not ours.
Yeah. So they took Ham to Wisconsin, where they forced him to sign 4 ransom notes. Okay. Then the gang took Ham to a hideout in Bensonville, Illinois, where they held him for 4 days until they got their payday of $100,000. The gang released William Ham as soon as they got their money, which, you know, that's nice.
Well, at least they didn't offer him.
They didn't kill him. But $100,000 in 1933.
Yeah, I wonder what that would
Can you calculate
equate
that?
to.
Can we look that up? She's going to look that up real quick.
Look it up.
I'll keep going. $100,000. That's a lot of money even now. So, yeah. So, 1933 was when that happened. Okay, so this was almost perfect. Almost. And you're really going to like this next part. So, maybe hold on for a second.
I have my thinking cap on.
Yep. Are you ready? What? How much?
Holy smokes. $2,104,361.54. Down to the penny.
Shit.
That is what it would be today.
Dude.
So it increased
That's
in
insane.
88 years by $2,004,361.54. So that was an inflation rate of 3.52%.
That's insane.
Jeez Louise.
That was a lot of money.
That was a
back
lot
then,
of money, so I could see why they would kidnap
I
them,
mean,
man.
yeah.
That's a good chunk of change.
Thanks for looking that up. Keep that open just in case.
Okay.
There's more. But wait, there's more. Anyway, so this was almost perfect, but there just happened to be some new technology at that time. State-of-the-art technology that is now called latent fingerprint identification. Now, these guys unknowingly left all kinds of usable fingerprint evidence all over those ransom notes.
Oh, I'm sure.
The silver nitrate method of extracting latent prints was used for the first time successfully in the Ham kidnapping case.
Interesting.
Pretty neat.
I wonder how many times it took them to get it to work.
I know. It's kind of like, but I'm not going to look that up because, you know.
That's a lot of research.
So now the officials actually had hard evidence that the Barker Karpis gang was behind the kidnapping. Now we skip forward to January of 1934. Edward George Bremmer Jr. was the unlucky next kidnapping victim of the Barker Karpis gang. Edward was a wealthy banker in St. Paul, Minnesota. He was snatched up by the Barker Karpis gang on January 17th of 1934. 3 weeks later, Bremmer's family paid the $200,000 ransom, and he was released.
So now,
right? So that should be like $4 million something. I guess.
Yeah. $4,083,089.55.
Y'all, what would you do with that kind of cash? I can tell you what I'd do with it. Shit would all be paid off. We'd still do the podcast because it's fun.
It's a lot of fun.
I'd pay off all the family debts. I'd buy the houses.
Yeah.
Buy myself a truck. I need a truck. I live
She
on
needs
a
a
farm.
truck.
I need a
Needs a
truck.
truck.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. So they released him. While Bremmer couldn't ID any of his kidnappers, he did provide a lot of clues. Thanks to those clues, a police officer was able to find an empty gas can on the side of a road that was on the kidnapping route. So at least he had that little bit of information. He knew the kidnapping route because apparently they were stupid enough to not cover his face, I guess.
Yeah.
And there was a fingerprint belonging to Doc Barker on that gas can.
Nice.
Now they're linked to two.
Two.
Okay. So all of this was happening around the same time as the Urschel and Lindbergh kidnappings. Really famous. Which meant a lot of publicity was happening around kidnappings in general. Now add to that, the father of Edward Bremmer, the last guy that they just kidnapped, was good friends with President Roosevelt.
Oh.
Not somebody you want to mess with. I mean, if you're smart.
A few ties.
Just little too much. So finally, on November 28th, 1934, Alvin Karpis became public enemy number 1.
Numero uno.
Yes, good job, good job.
Muchas gracias.
De nada. Which meant the FBI was hunting the Barker Karpis gang in full force. Hell yeah. So that's when Downward Spiral happened. You know, Alvin was declared public enemy number 1. The gang's like, oh shit, let's scatter.
Disperse.
Everybody scatter.
But of course they had all that money, so were they spending?
Oh no, they were
money?
spending all that money.
Yeah, they were making themselves found.
Yes. Yeah, if you're gonna do that shit, hold on to the money. Don't be an idiot.
Don't be an idiot.
Didn't you ever see Goodfellas? Did you see what happened to those
Find
guys?
a squirrel.
They all died.
Cook it up and eat it.
Except
Find a pail of water. Don't be going to
Henry Hill
money.
didn't die. Just saying. He's my fave. Okay. I have a weird thing about those movies. I love mafia stuff. Okay, carry on. Doc Barker was arrested on January 8th, 1935, without incident. So he was easy. They were just like, you're under arrest.
Put your hands up.
And he was like, ah!
Here we go, boss.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah. Later that night, some others were also arrested. Associate Russell Slim Gray Gibson, however, was armed and wearing a bulletproof vest. How the hell he got that is
that
beyond
was
me,
the
but like,
time of flak jackets, I want to say.
but where did he get it? I want to know.
Yeah,
Probably
it's
that dirty
not-
cop friend they had. Just like,
Could have been. They weren't. We'll have to look into it, but I don't believe they were like readily available now.
right?
Like
I can't
now,
imagine.
I can get rifle plates anywhere online, but
Yeah.
like anyone can.
I've never looked. I have no idea. So his dumbass tried to shoot his way out, but yeah, he succumbed to his gunshot wounds because that boy got shot to shit. That's what happens when
Did
you
it
try to
say
shoot
that?
cops when they're coming in to arrest you. Like, seriously, dude.
Gotta stop the threat.
Yep. So agents searched the apartment and found several powerful firearms and lots of ammo. Now, when I say several powerful firearms, do you know what era this is? This is the 30s, y'all. There were Tommy guns.
I was gonna say
My favorite!
Tommy guns.
I've always wanted to just, like, hold one, okay? And yes,
They look pretty badass.
they're pretty cool. I think we're going to be 70s Mafia this year for Halloween.
Ooh.
I know. Anyway, they also found a map of Florida with Lake Weir circled. Is that how you spell it? Weir? I think so. Or say
We're
It's Weir.
We're
It's like, where? Where are you? So anyway, this lake that they had circled just happened to be the location of a cottage where Fred and Ma Barker were staying.
And now we come back to her.
Yeah, she's just an innocent old lady.
Of course.
On January 16th, 1935, Fred and Ma Barker were killed after an approximately 4-hour, and this is more or less depending on the source that you look at.
Mhm.
I've seen anywhere from 3 to 6 hours, depending on where I looked.
Oof,
Yeah.
That's a long standoff.
Right? Especially for a woman who has no ties to a gang.
I'm just an old lady.
Baloney.
I'm an old lady.
Four-
Don't shoot
yeah.
me.
4 to 6, I'll say 4 to 6 hour shootout.
Mm-hmm.
Around this same time in Atlantic City, New Jersey, Alvin was almost gunned down. Almost. But he escaped because it just happens that way with some people. So, carrying on, Alvin eluded capture for another 16 months. During this time, he pulled an armored car robbery and a train robbery by himself. But authorities caught up to him in New Orleans on May 1st, 1936, and they arrested him. Now, Doc, Alvin, and many other members of the gang ended up serving time in Alcatraz, which is pretty cool, honestly. Like, I've actually never been out to Alcatraz, which is really sad because I used to live.
I've seen it.
I used to live right there. For many years, I lived right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the times we've gone up and down the coast of California, I've seen
Absolutely.
it, but we never went out there.
I've been closer to San Quentin than I'd like to be. I can tell you that. It's a really beautiful area.
I've been in a few prisons.
Yeah, I bet you have. Anyway, Doc was shot while attempting to escape in 1939. So I guess that's where he died. Alvin was eventually moved to McNeil Island Penitentiary, where he began teaching guitar lessons to none other than Charles Manson. His claim to fame.
We come
full circle on the crazy train.
What is it? 6 degrees of separation.
Oh my god! I swear I saw Charles Manson in a bar, but like he was locked up at the time, still not far from where I was. It's real creepy.
Mm.
Anyway, Alvin Karpis was paroled in 1969 and deported back to Canada, and he died of natural causes in 1979. Now, I'm going to go off of this just for a second, off what I wrote. He actually wrote some books,
Did he?
apparently, and he deported to Canada, and then he ended up moving, I think, to Spain, and he ended up writing a couple of books, and even he, to the day he died, swore up and down that Ma Barker was just a sweet old lady who supported her sons.
Yeah, she supported him.
I don't believe that for 1 second.
She supported him right to the bank.
Yeah. Once the gang split up after the last kidnapping, some stayed in the States but moved often because that's like the smart thing to do. Because these guys still hadn't been arrested. So they're still on the run.
Yeah, so they were just willy-nilly.
Yeah.
Walking around the streets.
And then some others fled to Cuba. I mean, hey, good food, nice beaches.
Yeah.
Old cars.
Old cars.
So
They
cool.
got some nice
3 of them even underwent backroom plastic surgeries. How scary is that? Concealing their identities all the way through to their fingerprints.
like garage.
Seriously, like back
Garage
alley.
plastic surgery.
Please change my face.
Time for
And my fingerprints. What did they do? How do you do that? Probably
they
chemicals?
They probably
But that
chemically
doesn't even
burned
work most of the time. Because
They
people don't do it
Could
right.
have like deeply cut into their skin.
All I can think is like, were they cutting their own fingerprints
But
off?
that's the thing people don't
Were they
understand. When you
replacing
change your fingerprints, you're going to create other marks.
Well, yeah.
And it's going to pick up
Right.
something else.
Right.
So
Anyway,
it's weird.
Ma Barker's involvement is all speculation. Nobody in the gang ever gave her up as the matriarch of the gang. Rumor has it Ma Barker trained her sons to use Tommy guns to do business with bankers. She was ruthless, according to these rumors, and her sons looked to her for guidance. Allegedly, Ma Barker ran the Barker Karpis gang, but there was never any proof. All members just say she was a devoted mother who went wherever her boys went. I think that's bullshit. Anyway, that's it.
I think
That's all I got.
that
Bring it.
she was whipping them boys and being like, you're going to do this for me. I need my money.
For real. Okay, so...
I need my smokes.
Right?
I need my coffee.
Well,
Because
and...
coffee's important.
Have you ever been to the backwoods?
The
Like,
backwoods?
really? I mean, obviously you haven't because you're still alive. In the Ozarks. Because, so, like, one of our good friends he lived in Arkansas. And, like, I know a lot of people that live in those areas. But he used to work for a tree company in Arkansas. And he told us, because we were going just to Missouri, but it's, like, right there on the border. Don't go down any dirt or gravel roads unless you know where they're going.
I mean, that's
Because you're not coming back out otherwise.
Yeah, it's probably just good advice for
Right.
life.
And Ma Barker, I know that she was from the backwoods of Missouri. She was a tough lady.
I'm pretty sure she learned how to...
All I can think about, have you seen the show Justified? Okay, the one lady, the moonshiner.
Yeah.
God, she made me nervous. But that's who I think of when I think of Ma Barker. She was a
Rough old lady.
bad motherfucker.
Bad Mama Jamma.
Bad Mama Jamma. For real.
The baddest.
So anyway, Ma Barker, what do you think? Write us. Tell us everything at, what is it? crimecoffeeandcrafts@gmail.com. And go to our website.
Look us up at www.crimecoffeeandcrafts.com.
Nice. And find us on the gram at Crime Coffee and Crafts Pod.
The
Instagram. And that's it. Till next time. Ta-ta.
For now.